Try not to do that she'd followed this. Underscore underscore. Around yet really awful she ain't follow him to the kitchen. And how she would have recently brought her butt into the kitchen and cooked for her. Underscore underscore. Man, she would have known this. Underscore underscore. All men can change, and all men will change, yet there's just a single lady that we will change for Jimmy. You understand what Steve sees such a lot of, like my father might dare to dream that in all that she's shown music. So you will have a hard time believing what's been going down in Steve Harvey's reality of late. You realize the entertaining television host and comic definitely turns out he's up to speed in some relationship dramatization. Recollect how he and Marjorie Harvey appear to have an unshakable marriage. Well, obviously, there are murmurs circumventing that Steve could have wandered a piece. It's only one we don't change for all ladies. We just change for one lady. Think about who's behind this gossip plant. Tasha K, the podcaster, let the cat out of the bag on her Instagram in one of her Loosen Up with Tasha K episodes. She dropped a bomb that she heard a few data about Steve, the 66-year-old, and his staggering confidential gourmet expert. That's right, it appears to be he's drawn near to his exceptionally alluring veggie lover gourmet specialist. And for the culinary abilities, as well as hang on, there's a voice of reason in the midst of the disorder. Somebody near Steve, presumably one of his buddies, swears all over that it's all garbage. They're persuaded the podcaster is simply mixing the pot, particularly since she's had lawful spats before, like with Cardi B discussing Steve and Marjorie. Only a long time back, he was all soft on Instagram, commending their 16 years of marriage. He shared a sweet video of them kissing, and he subtitled it with, as yet continuing forward, at Marjorie highlight Harvey appears as though they were cheerful, as anyone might think possible. Yet recall Steve's previous union with Mary Harvey. That was something else entirely. Game when they split in 2005. It was a media carnival. Mary wound up in a legitimate pickle, and even took a few hits at Steve. He didn't trifle with that. Let me let you know, keep thinking about whether she saw something in Steve that Marjorie hasn't. He ain't changing his objective. Rewinding to the last part of the 80s in Arlington, Texas. That is where Steve and Mary met. He was only a professional comic, and blast, they went completely gaga. Both had children from past connections. Yet insights regarding Mary's children are a piece foggy. Steve then again had two girls, Liquor and Carly, and a child, Broderick Harvey Jr. Wedding ringers rang in 1996. Yet before Mary, there was Marcia Harvey, Steve's most memorable spouse, and they split in 93. Presently wide Steve and Mary head out in different directions. Well, it was a wild ride. Allegations and blame shifting aplenty. The enormous issue, Steve's supposed disloyalty. Mary said he cheated with Marjorie, his flow spouse. She likewise guaranteed he could get vicious and abused her in their child charges. Flew, however, they didn't adhere because of an absence of proof. Then there's the entire wreck with Mary's capture. She went on YouTube, spilled such a large number of beans, and Steve made a legitimate move. She should zip it about their separation. Yet she didn't carry on honestly, so think about what she wound up in cuffs for hatred of court. Numerous at the time estimated on the off chance that Steve had been flexing his power and associations in the media. When it came to quieting Mary, even back in January, the dearest television host and entertainer, Steve Harvey, ended up in the center of some startling show, including his show Family Fight. The show veered off in a strange direction when a hopeful Darlene made a dazzling disclosure during a scene for an impending episode, in spite of being hitched to Marjorie. Starting around 2007, Darlene guaranteed they'd been dozing together for a long time. This stunning assertion left both Steve and the live studio crowd totally dumbfounded. The unforeseen admission prompted an emotional second that was difficult to disregard. Yet that is not by any means the only turbulent episode in Steve Harvey's life. Cast your psyche back to 2018 when his ex Mary Harvey, previously Vaughn, hit him with a stunning $60 million. Claimed the allegations she flung his direction were downright stunning. Mary claimed a clothing rundown of offenses including kid danger torment trick against privileges seizing, and the genuinely puzzling charge of soul murder. She guaranteed that spirit murder was accomplished through an upsetting blend of torment, hardship, and programming. In light of the claim, Steve Harvey's legal advisor, Brandon R. Williams, eagerly denied all charges, marking the grumbling as meritless paltry. And the claims totally bogus the fight in court among Steve and Mary Harvey finished in a Los Angeles Judge Gregory Keovian, excusing the case, proposing it be managed in Texas, where their separation was settled in 2005. What's more, back in 2019, a few truly surprising reports began twirling, and they generally started from RadderOnline.com. This report dropped a sensation guaranteeing that Steve Harvey was entangled in a clandestine mission to auction resources in front of an approaching separation fight. As per this alleged scoop, he had placed 4 of his properties in Texas, available to be purchased, and had proactively figured out how to offload 2 of them. Yet that wasn't all. The gossip factory demanded that a harsh victory had driven Marjorie to fly off on an extended globe-running experience with their girl. You see, Marjorie's no sucker. The top proceeded to propose that cash was no joking matter for herself, and she won't represent anything less one of those slippery sources, reigned in with an explanation that additional fuel to the discharge. Marjorie could never permit herself to be pushed around cash talks, and her man would be wise to give. And when the cash is gone, she's gone too. Those were a few in number words, coming from the shadows. And here's the kicker, this wasn't whenever Steve and Marjorie first wound up swimming through the cloudy waters of separation. Tattle, simply the year prior to a similar outlet, had dropped one more stunner guaranteeing that Steve was prepared to jettison his significant other for. In all honesty, Kris Jenner gracious in Marjorie. She probably had a $400 million sticker price on the split. When gotten some information about this ridiculous total, Steve got over it, with his unmistakable humor, telling the Atlanta Diary-Constitution, "My significant other came to me and said, 'Do we have $400 million?'" No, not yet. He wasn't entertained by these tales, communicating his disappointment at the deceptions that the media frequently hawked about his own life. He said, "They carry on as I don't have family. They carry on like my children can't peruse. They don't mind. They go out to obliterate individuals," without any realities behind it. Yet that is not entirely. There is to this Steve Harvey adventure one more debate based on a spilled reminder that Steve shipped off his new staff in May 2017. Similarly, as his syndicated program was migrating to Los Angeles in this update, Steve sets some areas of strength for really leads for anybody going into his changing area. He sets some hard boundaries, expressing there will be no gatherings in my changing area, no coming by or popping in. Nobody, don't come to my changing area, except if welcomed. The reminder even ventured to caution that anybody who thought for even a moment to open his changing area entryway without consent would be quickly eliminated by his security group. Steve Harvey made sense of that. He was looking for more private time over the course of the day, and was endeavoring to address a portion of the issues he had looked during his show's Disagreement Chicago, where the entryway strategy was all in all too permissive. While the notice might have appeared to be fairly severe, Steve recognized that he could have taken care of the circumstance. Distinctively looking back throughout the long term, he's likewise become known for offering expressions that have left individuals scratching their heads, from recommending that individuals who don't put stock in God are numbskulls, to declaring that men cheat since ladies permit them. To Harvey's perspectives have started analysis going from cases of homophobia to advancing cliché and hostile to scholarly ideas. For example, he once answered a watcher's inquiry on Great Morning America about why men go for less wise and shallow ladies. His reaction was very baffling, as he said, assuming that a person is out for one thing, it's ideal to go for shallow, unintelligent ladies. You would rather not inform a truly splendid lady hello, I simply believe should do something to you tonight. You would rather not tell that to a shrewd individual. Said she'll let you know where to take all of that you need to find someone shallow, truly basic unintelligent that you can run this by. And they'll stay there and go, wow, that sounds extraordinary. Then there was the time in January 2017 when Steve Harvey created All in All a Ruckus, especially in the African American people group, by meeting with President-elect Donald Trump. This move caused a stir because of the charged idea of the political race and the allegations of prejudice that had been flung at Trump. Harvey, who had upheld Hillary Clinton for president, protected the gathering, expressing that change could occur in the event that individuals found a spot at the table to have a say. He said, "I have a commitment to sit down at the table when welcomed anyway." Months after the fact, on his public broadcast, Harvey conceded that gathering with Trump was the most terrible mix-up he'd made in his life, recognizing the debate and kickback that had encircled the gathering. Now, it seems like he may be going to commit one more error with Marjorie that is in support of the video. People, gratitude for observing.